Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
In one sense, this is a sermon about global warming. In another sense, it's a sermon about women's rights and about treating each other as if every person you meet is deserving of respect. It is a sermon about what Taekwondo, John Kennedy, and the word bodhicitta have to do with each other. Most of all, this is a sermon about active hope. So, let me start with a little Earth Day heresy. I think that Al Gore has been going about this all wrong. I saw an inconvenient truth, and by the end I was certainly convinced that things are going very badly and that they are getting worse. What bothered me, even at the time I first saw it, was that the entire movie was devoted to defining the scope of the problem. In Taekwondo, they teach breaking boards not because they want you to have a lot of kindling for your fireplace, but as a lesson in focus. See, if you focus on the surface of the board, you will very likely break your hand. You have to think about having your fist at the full extension of your arm on the other side of the board. Pay no attention to the board is just an obstacle. Pay attention to your destination. Don't focus on the problem, don't even focus on the solution, focus on the world you want to create. You have to have a vision that demands your energy, and then you have to put energy into making it real. President Kennedy knew that. He challenged us as a nation to do what was then unthinkable. He challenged us to put a human being on the surface of our nearest neighbor in space because it was a dream worthy of us as a nation. Speaking at Rice University, he said, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and to do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win." So, what's your dream of the world you want to create? I can tell you a few things about my perfect world. In my dream world, I work from home when I'm doing things like writing sermons or other creative work. And when I have to go somewhere, I walk a couple of blocks to a transit station where I can step onto an electric train that takes me to a train station that is a comfortable walk from the place where I want to go. If I can't get there walking, then I take one of the public bicycles and ride that until I get to my final destination. My house is a comfortable temperature all of the time because it's well insulated, and it generates power from sun and wind so that most of the time I am making more power than I use. I have a porch for sitting and working when the weather is comfortable, and I get to say hello to my neighbors as they walk by or as they settle onto their own porches. We have a small greenhouse where my wife Julie grows vegetables for our use year-round, as well as flowers because, well, who doesn't like flowers? When I feel the need for company, I can jump onto a bike and ride to the nearest village center, a place that is designed in most neighborhoods to serve as a gathering place and a farmer's market, and where someone serves pie and sustainably sourced, locally roasted coffee at a sidewalk cafe that is designed to move indoors in inclement weather. Now, of course, your image may vary. Maybe sustainability is not the thing that most concerns you. Maybe your dream is a place where people are well educated and where they treat each other kindly, and where the value of the individual is not measured in how much money he or she has, but in how much good they manage to do with that wealth. So let's do a reality check. All that stuff is not possible because, fill in the blank with the obstacle of your choice. If you're thinking that we can't have solar and wind power because the Republican Party, A, doesn't believe in global warming, and B, are wholly owned by big oil, then I might tell you about the town of Georgetown, Texas, the biggest U.S. city so far to go 100% renewable. All right, but you could argue that you have heard somewhere that we need some new discovery and new technology to get to my vision. In which case, I could point out that a report released in 2013 entitled The Solutions Project, prepared by Mark Jacobson at Stanford University, indicates that we could switch to renewables now, using current technology, and along the way, create millions of jobs. But all of that is beside the point. No matter what argument you make, I want to tell you to stop looking at the surface of the board. If the dream is compelling enough, then all these things, technology and politics and big money and greed and ordinary human cussedness, all of them are just bumps in the road. All of them can be overcome if we keep our eyes on the prize. Listen, we all get tired of being knocked down again and again. For those who can't seem to see the dream from down there on the canvas, let me offer you a word. The word is bodhicitta. Bodhi is the Sanskrit word for enlightenment, and chitta means mind. Therefore, it literally means a mind of enlightenment. To help you understand what it means in practical terms, let me tell you about the monastery of Kamphagar. The monastery of Kamphagar was destroyed by the Red Guard during the Chinese Cultural Revolution. And just after they destroyed the temple, they pretty much stopped paying attention to the whole area. So, what were the monks to do? See, if they rebuilt the temple, there was no guarantee that the Red Guard wouldn't come and knock it down again. What did they do? Well, they practiced bodhicitta. They assumed that since you cannot know, you simply proceed. You put one brick on top of another, and then another on top of that, and if the bricks are knocked down, you begin again, because if you don't, nothing will be built. You persist. In the long run, it is persistence that shapes the future. Bodhicitta is a skill that can be developed over time with proper training. One approach to that training is called the work that reconnects, and it is a system of transformational practice developed by Joanna Macy and her colleagues. For those interested in salvation by bibliography, I recommend Macy's book, Active Hope. The idea is to find a way to spend some regular time thinking about the answers to 4 questions. This can be part of private meditation practice, or it can be done in groups or families, or all 3. We're going to do now an incredibly short and condensed version of this, and I encourage those of you who would like to take the practice home to take notes on the cards I provided you. Step 1 is called gratitude. Take a card, write the word gratitude, and then think about what words naturally follow the sentence that starts, "One thing I love about the world is." In ordinary practice, you would spend minutes of this. I will give you seconds. And then we move to step 2. On a new card, honor our pain. We don't like to admit it, but pain is our friend. It alerts us to danger, and it guides us in the proper care of our injuries. So, finish this sentence in your mind. When I dream of a better world, what scares me is... Step 3 is called seeing with new eyes. For this, see what words follow a sentence that begins, Something that inspires me is. Step 4 is going forth. See what words follow. Something I'd love to do to make a difference is. When you're practicing at home, after you give yourself a couple of minutes on this question, you can also nudge your intention forward by seeing what follows a sentence that begins, "A step towards this I will take in the next 7 days is." So, if I can steal a page from another great dreamer, I have a dream where a world where humanity lives in harmony with each other and with the beautiful pale blue dot that is our one and only home. A world where we take freely from the endless bounty of sun and wind and water offered us, but where we take no faster than those resources can be replenished. A world where every human being takes seriously their role as stewards and crewmen on this fragile spaceship, where we waste nothing and where we share everything, where we love each other and equally love all the creatures that inhabit this place with us. I have a dream of a world where every parent strives to leave for their children a cleaner, a healthier, and a more beautiful world than the one they inherited, and where every child strives to treat that inheritance as a privilege to be earned, not a right to be abused. So what's your dream? Whatever it is, blessed be, and amen.